I was asked, hey Frodo, what is the best rathole on Valguero? And that's why I was on the search for unraidable base locations. These spots are so good that people can only raid you by meshing. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you ratholes that are so good, no one will want to raid you. Hello Dodo crew, welcome back to another video about Ark Survival Ascended. Number 1 are actually two medium-sized ratholes located at 55 and 35.5. The entrance is quite large and creatures like trikes probably fit through. But I still find it quite easy to defend, and I consider this a perfect base spot to start a new wipe. This spot is well suited for solo or duo players, but it's not even that small if you build right at the back. If you place a few turrets to cover the entrance, you can defend your base quite well. And considering the rathole is so easy to defend, the area at the back of the rathole is already quite large, making it easy to build a crafting area, set up storages or breed small and medium-sized creatures. Because the spot isn't very high, it can quickly become a bit tight when breeding, and you will need to be a bit organized. So you should use this rathole in the early game, until you have moved to a slightly larger or safer one. On a side note, as of I'm editing this, I'm at about 7k subs. If you could sub to help me reaching my goal of 10k subs, I would really appreciate it. The second rathole is located at 85.1 and 80.3. You have to fly into this cave. Once inside, go to the right side and hug the wall. Then turn around and fly upwards. You should now see a narrow gap, and this is our rathole. This spot is well suited for solo or duo players, but this spot is not super big, but still big enough for a full crafting area and a bit of storage that can be defended relatively easy. A few turrets shooting from top to bottom and the base is already well defended enough to get through the first few days. Breeding or something like that will be a bit more difficult in this space, but especially in the early game, you could use the gap to make some initial progress until you find a better spot. For my next solo run, I'm seriously considering using this rathole. Even if enemies can build up there, it is still very good for hiding. Are you tired of playing alone on a dead server? Sick of lag, wipes and admins who never show up? Then it's time to join TBS, one of the biggest no-wipe servers, on which I'm actually playing and I'm making a video on. On top of that, on their PvP and PvE servers, they have all maps available cross-platform, custom caves that are truly outstanding, auto-lootable raid bases and even full 48-hour offline raid protection during the week. Not only that, but on weekends, it switches to a 3 times orb, which offers the possibility for offline raids, more action and so much more. A maximum of 4 players per tribe is allowed and there are cash prizes for the best tribes. Your starter kits and a bunch of other things are designed to help new players get started on these servers. And if you don't feel like defending your base at 3 AM in the morning, there are a bunch of other things that make it possible for players with jobs or normal lives to play. On top of that, if PvP isn't your thing, why not join one of their PvE servers? Stop wasting time on empty servers, come and play with a real community on TBS. Links are in the description. I'll see you on the cluster. My number 3 is more exciting. This rathole is located in the middle of the purple crystal at 32 and 54 and is great for solo players. More than one player won't have much fun here, but at least that one player is safe from all enemies. The rathole is high enough in the air that you can simply build into it, and at the same time it's hard to see and still very unknown. A few turrets shooting from top to bottom and the base is pretty well defended and will get you through your first few days. Breeding or something like that will be impossible, but especially in the early game you could use the crack to make some initial progress until you find a larger spot. There are several reasons why aberration cave ratholes are so good. On the one hand, it's a non-flyer zone, meaning you simply can't fly, making holes in the wall much stronger. At the same time, there are many radioactive spots where raiding is a real pain, which makes them even stronger. The fourth rathole is surrounded by red crystals and can be found in the aberration cave at 35.8 and 64.6. It's located directly in the right part of the arch, right in the middle. This rathole is relatively small and can only be built by one player or at most 2, but it's very well hidden and one of the lesser known ones, which gives you a huge advantage in PvP. You can place a few foundations and then set up a small crafting area or a few forges. You can't forget about breeding or anything like that, because it's simply too small, but you can easily hide a little loot and a few resources or creatures there, and then defend them with some turrets. Rathole number 5 is relatively strong because it's located in the radiation zone, and all base locations in the radiation zone tend to be much stronger. This rathole is a solid pick, especially in the early game, as you can hide medium-sized aberration creatures such as Ankylos inside. It might feel a bit cramped when breeding, but with a little patience you should be able to manage it and raise your first few lines. With some foundations placed, you can quickly make enough space for a good number of forges and chem benches. A few heavies and techs at the entrance should keep most opponents busy and serve as a solid defense. Overall, you should use this rathole in the early game until you're ready to move to a larger location. And when I'm talking about larger ratholes, I mean for example rathole number 6. It may have a slightly larger entrance, but in my opinion it's still very defensible, while not being visible from a distance and still quite decently hidden. It's certainly one of the largest ratholes on this list and more suitable for tribes with duos, trios or even larger. The biggest problem is actually the size itself. Because it's already quite large, the entrance is also quite large and stegos and other creatures fit in easily. That means it's certainly not suited for the early game, but it might be good for a farm base in the aberration zone, as it's very close to several important resources, and once you have a teleporter, you can easily bring a large amount of resources from there to your main base. And if you want to know how to farm properly on Valguero without having investing thousands of hours, watch the linked video. The 7th rathole is again in the aberration zone. It's located in the structure at 50.5 and 71 on the wall of the aberration zone. On that wall, you'll see a metallic structure that looks like you can climb behind it. And well, you can climb behind it. The entrance is okay in terms of size, and most creatures won't fit through that because it's just too narrow. With cryopods you can get your creatures into the rathole and also throw them out of it, as it offers a good amount of space inside. The rathole itself is suited for solo or duo players, and with a bit of luck you can also play it as trio or four-man. But that will be very tight. That means it's certainly not suited for the early game, but it might be good for a farm base in the aberration zone, as it's very close to several important resources. The 8th rathole isn't really a rathole, but more like a small cave. But I like it. It's simple, it's easy to build, it has a good size, and especially in the early game, it makes sense to set up your fortress there. Stegos and trikes can get through the entrance, but you and your mates can defend well here for the first few days with a few turrets facing the entrance. You can throw out your first creatures here, do a bit of breeding, and even industrial fortress and a crafting area will fit in here. Above the rathole itself, there are small holes where you can place small chests to hide some loot. The 9th rathole is located in the Wyvern's Gorge at 14.4 and 16.9. While it's not large and only suitable for solo or duo tribes, it's already fairly well defended by the lava, wyverns and the heat. The entrance is medium-sized but located high up. The worst that can happen to you is a raid with a Quetzal flying into your base. I wouldn't build there, but it's good for a few storages. Building a farm base or an outpost there would be sufficient, and you could improve your map control. For once, there are a few honorable mentions. With waterfalls like 32.4 and 79.5, you can easily hide small bases. These waterfalls prevent structures behind them from being rendered. And similar to Astreas, they are so loud that you can't even hear crafting stations like fabricators. Such waterfalls are hidden on most maps, and I have to say, they are usually my bases that stay up the longest because they simply don't get discovered. So if you want and can't find a rathole, just try building behind one of these waterfalls and you will see it actually works quite well. The 10th rathole is a medium-sized rathole in the aberration zone and can be found at 28.2 and 94.5. At the very top of this area you will find a small niche. This niche is useful because flyers don't work in the entire aberration cave. There is enough room up here for at least 2 players, and you can quickly build foundations to create some space. Smaller creatures fit here. You can build a good defense too, because you can build the entire crystal. At the same time, there's room for a crafting area and resources aren't that far away. Even when you're in the room, the area is very difficult to see, and even at maximum render range, enemies who simply want to scout the room won't see you. The last rathole is my favorite. It is a medium-sized spot in the aberration zone located at 48.1 and 63.2. At the very top you will find some large orange crystals. This spot is handy since flyers can't be used anywhere in the aberration cave. There's enough space for at least 2 players and you can easily place foundations to make more room. Smaller creatures fit well here and you can build a solid defense since you can build all around the crystals. There's also enough space for a small crafting area and resources are close by. Even when you're inside this spot, it's hard to notice even at max render distance. Enemies scouting the area won't see you. I hope you liked this video and I'm thrilled to read if this video has helped you. Hit the like button and leave a comment below for the algorithm and consider subbing to the channel. Alright, Frodo.